Because not everybody's gonna have a seat.
All right, everyone, please be seated.
You have to let Emma hear me.
All right, so first off, I want to thank you all for coming down. I know sometimes it's difficult and it's inconvenient, but we can't have jury trials unless we have jurors. So it's appreciated. You all should have one of those white sheets of paper. If you had two, please pass one to someone who doesn't have one. And if there is anyone who doesn't have one, please raise your hand and let us know. All right. So we have three at the front.
And my partner has one.
All right. So you have one or two choices with those forms. For example, you will get a payment for being here today. Now, when you get that payment in the mail, it'll come like maybe 2 or 3 months later. You'll be able to enjoy probably lunch from that, or you can donate it. And there are a lot of organizations you can donate to. I have my personal favorites, which I never mentioned to anyone. So you can make your own choice if you would like to donate it, and it will go directly to them and it won't come to you. If you decide not to donate it, you'll have a check that comes in the mail and you'll try to figure out, why do I have this? Is this real? What's going on? And then you will remember the wonderful time you spent in the 187th, and it will bring joy to your faces and a smile when you use it for lunch. The 187 District Court is always open, so you're more than welcome to come down anytime you wish to. If you want to see what happens in this trial, if you're not selected for the jury, you're more than welcome to come down for that as well. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to call the people who will be seated on the jury. So please bring your personal items with you. Don't leave them in the audience. Donna Mowbray. And if you'll take a seat in the box. Araceli Bowling. Oscar Barrios. See, it's great you got that seat right there, so you can just slide in. Daniel Vinson. Graciela Lopez. Jacqueline Petrella. Jonelle Fields. Elizabeth Kalka. Evangeline Fernandez. Roberto Antivarat. Say your last name for me, please. I'm going to work on that, I promise. I can't roll my R's. Lorenzo Velasco. Sandra Castillo. Candy Johnson. Summer Rose. And Deputy Laura, do I have 14 in the box?
Yes.
All right. And everyone else, if you'll go downstairs, you will get a validation for your parking down there. So thank you all for your service.
Oh, it's your. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Mhm. All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin the jury trial, but after we begin the jury trial, before we recess today, I'll give you all instructions about where to appear and what you can expect over the next few days, okay? All right, so I know all of you took the oath downstairs, but the oath that I'm going to give you today is for this specific case. So if everyone could raise your right hand for me, please. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm in the case of the state of Texas against Lamont Curry, you will a true verdict render according to the law and the evidence, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. State, are you prepared to proceed?
Yes, Judge.
All right, yes, Mr. Curry and Defense Police Rice.
In the name and by authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury of Bexar County, state of Texas duly organized, impaneled, and sworn as such at the March term AD 2020 of the 437th Judicial District Court of said county and said court at said term do present in and to said court that in the county and state aforesaid and anterior to the presentment of this indictment. On or about the 27th day of March 2020, Lamont Curry, hereinafter referred to as defendant, while in the course of committing theft of property and with intent to obtain and maintain control of said property, did intentionally, knowingly, and recklessly cause bodily injury to Juan Benavides, hereinafter referred to as complainant, by striking the complainant with the hand of the defendant against the peace and dignity of the state, signed the foreman of the grand jury.
Mr. Curry, how do you plead to that? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Not guilty.
All right, thank you. State, are you prepared to proceed with opening statements?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed.
March 26th, 27th of 2020, it's a day that forever changed the life of Juan Benavides. He lost his sense of trust in people. He lost his sense of security. And you're going to hear about that over the course of this trial. So Juan's going to come in and he's going to testify. He's going to tell you about what happened that evening, actually. He was staying at the Emily Morgan Hotel down on Houston Street. The pandemic had just hit, everything had shut down. His water heater had gone out. So he was staying at the hotel with his family. The prices were good because the hotels were pretty empty. He's going to tell you that around 9:30 that night, after having dinner with his family, that he walked his ex-wife out because she had joined him for dinner. When he walked his ex-wife out, he decided to sit and have a cigarette right outside the Emily Morgan. So he's sitting there on the bench. Again, it's like 9:30 at night. He's going to tell you that as he's sitting there, he sees a group of young males. He's going to say it was about 10, but later on we're going to learn that it was actually about six black males walking in front of the federal courthouse past like the Alamo, that area. He's going to tell you that he sees them and he's like, thinks it's a little odd, but he's also like, oh, it's good to see people out. I mean, it had been pretty dead around downtown. So then he has sort of a second thought and he begins to get concerned because he's like, he sees them coming towards him. They cross over from the opposite side of the street and they come towards his direction. And he has a moment where he's like, there's something up. But he tells himself, no, I shouldn't be concerned. He'll tell you, he's like, don't be racist. And so he decides to stay out there. He's like, maybe they just crossed because of the construction that was going on. And so they cross, they approach him. He's going to tell you that he saw the defendant up front, that he was much taller than the rest of them, that he was bigger than the rest of them, that he stood out. That they said some words, something to the effect of, he could hear them saying something to the effect, oh, he has money because he's staying at the Emily Morgan. They asked him how's it going, and he said something to the effect of just trying to stay alive or just living. He flicks his cigarette and he drops it. When he bends out to pick it up, he sees the defendant approaching him and the defendant punches him in the face. At that point, everyone else jumps in, all of the other 5 guys, and they all start punching him. He's going to tell you that he can't tell you exactly who was doing what. He just knows that he was trying to defend himself. they tried grabbing at people's feet and doing whatever he could. Eventually he realized he didn't stand a chance, so he just gave up. He's like, just take it, take whatever you want. You can have my money, you can have whatever. They end up taking his wallet, they take his phone. His wallet had some cash and credit cards in it. He's gonna tell you that right after that, they take off and he goes inside and calls 911. He tells his son and they come down and the police arrive. Later on that night, the police are looking, they're trying to find the defendant and his group in the area, and they can't spot him. They get some information from another law enforcement. There's a small law enforcement agency called the LAMONT Rangers. And so they have cameras in the area. So they get an idea of what the suspects look like, what they're wearing, et cetera. So they're all on the lookout for these people. One is also going to tell you that he got a hit that his credit card was used at a Valero that same night. And so he lets the officers know that too. The officers, they keep riding around the area. Eventually, one of the officers, a bike patrol officer, and you're going to hear from him, Carlos Martinez, he sees a group getting on a bus. He has them hold the bus until backup arrives. Once backup arrives, they get them off the bus. At that point, it's only 4 individuals. So the other 2 individuals had left, but the defendant was still with that group. They search that group and they find Juan Benavidez's credit card and wallet in one of the individuals' pockets. Not Lamont Curry, but one of the other individuals that were in the group. You're gonna see some video on this case. Unfortunately, the video that hopefully will come in, there's an issue, and the law enforcement officer who's responsible for that video is going to tell you that it glitches. Unfortunately, you're going to see that it glitches at the worst time. So you're going to see them approaching Juan Benavidez, and then you're going to see Juan Benavidez getting beat up, but you don't see that first punch. And you're not going to see Mr. Curry punching the defendant. At that point, Mr. Curry is standing to the side and letting the other individuals beat up Mr. Benavidez, Juan Benavidez. You're also going to hear from the officers that Mr. Curry is much older than the rest of the individuals, that he's in his 40s and he's running around the streets with some 19, 20-year-old kids. One of the kids was actually a juvenile. He had to be taken to a different facility. So you're going to hear from one, you're going to hear from officers who responded to the scene. You're going to hear from some technical witnesses that we have to call just to get in the video for certain things. You're going to see pictures. But most importantly, we're going to prove this case to you beyond a reasonable doubt. And after we do that, we're going to ask that you hold Mr. Curry accountable for his actions that day and find him guilty of robbery.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Honor. The state pretty much gave the story. Except that story is Mr. Curry was not involved. See, you're gonna get to see video. The good thing about this happened downtown. That evening, what ends up happening is Mr. Curry hangs around downtown an awful lot. As do a lot of people. They catch buses left and right, coming and going. What you do see on the video is 6 individual people. One even taller than Mr. Curry. They're walking. You can never see anybody's faces. And then you kind of see in the distance, you're going to see this. Mr. Benavidez sitting down. What you're going to see, they call it a glitch. I don't know what you're going to see, but you're going to see at least 5 individuals hitting and kicking Mr. Benavidez. Well, another individual is standing off to the side. They run off. About that time, a little bit later on, I guess Mr. Curry arrives downtown on a bus, sees these guys, he knows them because they hang around downtown too. And tell him, hey, this is what's going on. This is why he knows there was a robbery. They said, let's go over to the Valero. Mr. Curry just goes along with them. He wasn't spending any money of Mr. Benavidez. Didn't even know who Mr. Benavidez was. So you're going to get to see actually a shot from the Valero where you could see people's faces. You're also going to see different faces coming and going because as a group evolves, people are coming and people are going. What also is going to happen is this. Mr. Curry is stopped on a bus with these individuals where the police take them off. 4 individuals are arrested. Okay. A few days later, the detective shows Mr. Benavidez lineups. Because Mr. Benavidez says, as the state just said, that he saw through the first punch, shows them a lineup, And of course, in that lineup is Mr. Curry's picture, and he does not pick out Mr. Curry. In fact, he picks out nobody. So just doesn't know who did it. And that's basically the evidence of what you can see. You can see that Mr. Curry never spent any money, did any money. There's going to be no pictures of Mr. Curry doing any of this stuff other than Mr. Curry being around some individual that did do this crime. And at the end of the crime, like, we're not going to be asking you to think about it. We're going to tell you simply this, like we talked to Dyer. I'm going to ask you not guilty. Thank you.
All right, state, call your first witness.
State called Juan Benavides.
And ladies, if you all, and gentlemen, if you ever need a break, either I will see you asking for a break, or either one of the attorneys will, or Brenda will, because she has eyes in the back of her head. But if you just do this, everyone will know that you need a break. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, have a seat. And make sure you speak into the microphone. Please keep your voice up so that the jurors can hear you, attorneys, and the court reporter, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Your
if you
Honor.
could state your name for the record, please.
Juan Benavides.
All right, state.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Juan.
Good afternoon.
Are you, I guess, do you live here in Bear County?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how long have you lived here in Bear County?
Since 2005,
Prior to 2005, where were you at?
Norman, Oklahoma.
What were you doing in Oklahoma?
I was finishing up my PhD and working for the state of Oklahoma for the Office of Personnel Management.
And so you have your PhD.
Yes, sir.
What did you get your PhD in?
Industrial organizational psychology.
So what do you do for a living?
I make tests for people to get jobs and also do analyses on like employee engagement and stuff like that.
And so you've been here since 2005. Do you have any family here?
Yes, I do. I have my 4 kids and 3 grandchildren.
All here in Bear County?
Yes. Well, I'm not sure if Woodlake's in Bear County. It's for my daughter lives with my grandchildren. It's pretty close.
Back in 2020, do you remember if you were staying here in Bear County?
Yes.
Do you remember when I guess, everything sort of shut down for the pandemic?
Yes. It's pretty vivid.
Okay, when was that?
That was the beginning of 2020.
During that time, did you have any issues with your home?
Yeah, we had the hot water heater go out.
When that happened, what did you do?
Well, we went for a couple of days without a hot water heater and then decided we probably should do something about it. And went to stay downtown because we thought stuff would be cheap and it'd be kind of interesting to see what was going on with, the COVID, the COVID was going on and no one was out and about. And so we were gonna get a plumber to get it fixed while we were staying there.
Where did you stay at downtown?
The Emily Morgan,
Do you remember the address to that hotel?
no idea. It's right across the street from the Alamo.
Is it here within Bear County?
Yes.
Who all stayed at the Emily Morgan with you?
It was me and 2 of my sons, I believe. Because I only have 2 sons that live with me. Then I have my other son that lives with my former wife, and he may have stayed one night, but I'm not sure.
Objection non-responsive.
All right, that'll be overruled.
Okay, so you said it was you and 2 of your sons?
Correct.
How many nights did you book for the Emily Morgan Hotel?
Originally, it was for one night, and we ended up staying another night.
That night, that first night, I guess, do you remember what day of the week it was?
I think it was a Thursday, but I'm not positive.
Did something happen to you that first night you were there?
Yeah.
I guess, so what time did you check into the hotel?
Ugh. Sometime in the afternoon.
Okay. Did you have dinner that evening?
Yes.
Who did you have dinner with?
It was me, my 2 sons, and my former wife.
Was your wife staying at the hotel with you?
No.
At some point, did she leave?
Yes.
When she left, I guess, did you walk her out?
Yes, I did.
After you walked her out, what did you do?
Sat on the bench and had a cigarette.
Do you remember how long you were outside smoking a cigarette?
5, 6, 7 minutes, something like that.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I'll show you what's marked as State's Exhibits 1 and 2. Can you tell me if you recognize these?
Yeah, that's the entrance to Emily Morgan, and that's the bench I believe I was sitting in.
Um, Do they fairly and accurately depict the scene as it appeared on March 26th, 27th of 2020?
Well, for the most part, but you've zoomed in so much on that bench, you can't see where it's in position to stuff, but from what I see, it looks right.
All right, at this time, we'll offer State's Exhibit 1 and 2.
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted without objection.
So State's Exhibit 1 is the front of the hotel, is that right?
Correct.
And then State's Exhibit 2, this is the bench where you were sitting.
Correct.
And so you were sitting there having a cigarette. And then you did anything catch your eye? Are you kidding me?
Well, yeah, group of folks coming my way.
Do you remember about how many people it were?
Well, at the time, I thought it was about 10, and subsequently, after seeing video and stuff, it's less than 10. It was like 6.
Okay. Do you remember their gender or sex?
Yeah, so it looked like a bunch of young black guys, with one exception, the guy in front, which looked older than the rest.
I guess. Do you see that the guy who was in front in the courtroom today?
The gentleman over there looks like he could be that guy, but he's got a mask on, and I didn't ever get like a long look at anybody because I wouldn't think anything bad was happening. I was just looking up and glancing at them as they came up.
Okay, Your Honor, if we could have the gentleman lower his mask to see if,
All right, if you could lower your mask, please.
Yeah, it doesn't help much.
okay. And so you said that you didn't get a good look at the person that day.
Correct.
Can you describe the person who was up front?
Yeah, big cornerback looking guy, kind of like him. He was much bigger than everybody else. Had, partially looked like dreads, or, his head had, kind of tight locks, and had a white t-shirt on, and he just looked different than everybody else. He looked like the leader of the whole crew.
Okay. And so you see them approach you, and what did you do?
Nothing. I mean, they came walking up. I was like, oh, cool. Nice. There's people out, finally, there's been nobody out all night. And it was really weird. Then I saw them coming across the street, and I was like, well, there's construction, because there's fences there. I was like, oh, there's across the street. And then they got closer, and then I heard somebody said, oh, big money. And I was like, oh, that's odd thing to kind of say, but it's like, could be because I'm in front of Emily Morgan, no big deal. They're getting closer. They're like right there. And then somebody's like, how you doing? I'm like, fine, just trying to stay
Object to
happy.
hearsay.
What?
Objecting to hearsay without a specific individual and who's quoting, that's hearsay.
All right, that'll be sustained with regards to hearsay.
Okay, and so could you tell who was doing the speaking as they were approaching you?
No.
Okay, and so they're approaching you, I guess, about how,
They were about 4 or 5 steps away when they started initiating conversation. I'm an idiot. Like I said, I'm not thinking anything's wrong. I flicked the ash on my cigarette. It fell on the ground. So I bent down to pick it up.
and
And at that point, I'm seeing their feet when I bent over.
and 1 second one. So as they're approaching you, who is in front?
The big tall guy with the white shirt.
Okay, the guy with the dreads.
Correct.
Okay. But you don't know who's speaking to you at that point?
No.
Okay. Do you remember what you said in response to the person who was speaking to you?
Yeah, I said, just trying to stay alive.
Okay. And so then you just said that you bent down to pick something up?
Cigarette, yeah.
Okay. When you bent down to pick it up, how close was the big tall guy?
When I bent over, they were there, and then out of the corner of my eye, that's when I see the white shirt come down, and I just get hit on the side of the head.
Okay.
And then
So the person who punched you on the side of the head was the tall white.
Just leading.
Sustained.
Can you tell the jury what the person who punched you was wearing?
yeah, I thought I just did. It was the big white shirt guy. out of the corner of my eye. You could see him. It was just like almost like a movie where you just see the shirt and the hand come in and I get hit. And then the rest started kicking me and hitting me at that time.
Do you remember if there was anyone else who was tall with dreads and a white shirt?
No.
Okay.
The two things that stand out most about other people was a red shirted guy and a blue shirted guy.
Once that tall guy who was in front hit you, what happened next?
I went to all four, tried to grab one guy's leg. That didn't go well. He stomped on my hand. And then so I just kind of stayed up, knowing now if I just lay down and release the pressure from my back, they could have got my wallet more quickly. I wouldn't got beaten as long. But that's just not how I am. Now I would do it. But at the time, it was like, no, you're not going to take my stuff. But at the same time, I'm yelling, take my stuff.
Judge,
Please
not
bid on it.
responsive.
Sustained.
As they were punching you, I guess, was it one person that was punching you or was it?
No,
a
it
group?
was multiple people. I was getting hit all over. It was a lot more kicking, I think, than punching. But like I said, you can't really tell what's going on around in here.
Do you recall what they were saying, if anything, as they were punching you?
No, not really. Go
You're-
down, cursing.
Judge, hearsay.
That'll be
The
overruled.
question was what they were saying. Again, it's hearsay.
The people that were beating
Excuse me,
on
sir.
me.
Sir,
So-
I'm so sorry. I know sometimes when it may be your first time testifying, but when either the state or the defense raises an objection, then stop speaking so I can answer that. And if you have a question over whether or not you can continue to speak, just look towards me and I'll let you know. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, that objection is sustained. Ask your question.
And so do you remember what you said in response to them attacking you?
Please quit hurting me. I'll just give you what I have. You don't need to beat on me.
Do you remember about how long they were punching and kicking you?
Like a minute.
How did it all end?
With me falling onto my side, kind of rolling over, and they were able to pull my wallet out at that point. And then they took off.
Did they take anything from you besides your wallet?
My phone, it was on the ground already.
I guess, what sort of injuries did you have as a result of the?
Just bruising, it was bruised all over, sore ribs, but nothing that required me to go to the hospital or anything.
Did you feel pain as a result of their attacks?
Oh, yeah. More emotional than physical, though.
And so once they stopped attacking you and took your property, did you see where they went off to?
Yeah, it looked like they went around the corner up the road, but I can't say for sure.
Okay.
They went out of sight from where I was at.
At some point, did you make a call to 911?
Correct.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
I'm gonna show you what's been marked as state's exhibits 3, 4, and 5. Tell me if you recognize these.
Yes, 3 is me, the picture taken by the police officer up front. Right after another picture of it from the side, and then a picture of my wallet with the contents displayed as well.
And does 3, 4, and 5 accurately represent what they depict as it appeared on March 26th?
Yes,
And then I'm showing you what's marked as state's exhibit 6. Do you recognize that?
yes, that's the video thing we listened to the other day, audio.
Okay. Is this your signature on it?
Correct.
And is it a true and correct copy of the 911 call that you made on that day?
Yes.
All right, at this time, we'll offer state's exhibits 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Judge, we don't have any objections to stage 3, stage 4, or stage 5,
All right, 3, 4, 5 are admitted without objection.
and stage 6, we do object. It's improper predicate, wrong witness for what they're claiming it to be. I don't know what it is.
All right, that objection will be overruled. States exhibit number 6, the 911 call.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then states exhibit number 6 is admitted without objection.
Your Honor.
I'm sorry, the state's exhibit 6 is admitted over defense's objection. So that the record can be clear.
Plate 6, exhibit 6.
Yes.
Sorry, the audio doesn't appear to be working, so we're gonna play it from a different device.
All right, could I have parties approach?
Yes.
Let me connect. Police?
This is Lisa.
Okay, what's going on?
This is the Emily Morgan Hotel. I had a guest that was walking outside and he got run.
Okay, what is the address there?
705 East Houston.
And is the guest with you?
Yes, he is.
Can I speak with him?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, this is Liz from San Antonio Police Department. What happened?
I was just sitting out front having a cigarette, and like a group of about 10 guys came up and just came over, and I said hey, and then right when I did, they just started beating the shit out of me and took my wallet and my phone.
How long ago did this happen?
It just happened. I came in and called immediately.
Do you need medical attention?
No, it's bruises and I may have a messed up thing, but it's not my pinky, but I don't need an ambulance or anything. I don't know if I need to file a report.
Okay, yes, I'm gonna go ahead and put the information for someone to call for you. Let me just get additional information. The males, were you able to see if they were white, black, or Hispanic, or
They were all black.
did you see what they were wearing?
They were all different colors because there's like 10 of them. One's really tall, like 6 foot, 6, in a white shirt. There's somebody in a red shirt, and I was so fast and so painful.
So the guy with the white shirt, he was really tall?
I think the white one with the white shirt was the really tall one, yeah,
Okay.
like really tall, like taller than everybody else. I think he may have had dreads. Did they run this way? Did they run by? I nothing.
When this happened, were there any weapons involved?
No. I think they ran this away.
Did you see what direction they took off towards?
I'm asking him, what road is that right there? Avenue E? What direction is that? North. They went north on Avenue E.
Avenue E?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is your name?
Juan Benavides,
Your phone number?
405-819-6129.
Is that the phone number that they took?
Yeah, that's the one if you can track it.
One more time with the phone number. 210
No, it's 405 is the area code.
405.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
819-6129.
6129. Do you want me to send EMS to check you out?
No, I was having him get my ice pack because it's all, I just got a bunch of knots on the back of my head.
And they didn't use any weapons, correct?
Not that I could tell. I think it was all this.
Okay. And I do need to ask you a few questions for your safety and the safety of officers. Have you been out of the country or the state in the last 14 days?
No, I've been at home. I work from home.
Have you been in contact with someone who traveled out of the state or country in the last 14 days who is ill with respiratory symptoms?
No, ma'am.
Have you been in contact with someone who has traveled out of the state or the country in the last 14 days or no?
No.
Okay, I already do show up there's officers responding to you. Just so you know, for your safety and ours, responding officers may be wearing personal protective equipment such as goggles, gloves, and masks. When officers arrive, just go ahead and follow their instructions.
Of course.
And did you see if they took off on foot or in a vehicle?
They're on foot. They came walking up and I literally thought I had to go on the inside here. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going to do that. But they're just, you see black people, something's going to happen bad. And it was like, I wish I actually would have, because this has never happened.
And did they appear to be high or drunk, or you're unable to determine?
No, I don't think they were hurt drunk. Yeah. They look like they're out looking for trouble.
And you're going to be waiting inside the location?
Yeah, we're right in the lobby. It's the Emily Morgan.
What are you wearing so that officers can see?
I have jeans and a orange and blue jersey shirt that says California on it.
Okay, I'll go ahead and update this information, and I just show that there's officers responding to you. If anything changes, go ahead and give us a call back, okay?
Definitely, thank you.
Thank you, bye-bye.
One, why did you say that it looked like they were looking for trouble?
After they beat me up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because they beat me up.
Okay. And about how long did it take for the officers to arrive to the scene?
Less than 5 minutes, I think.
Were they able to immediately locate the people who robbed you?
I don't know if it was immediate. There was a bit of time because we were watching on the track phone, Google phone, where they were at and telling them they're here. And so there was a bit of time.
Sorry, so are you telling the jury you were able to track your phone?
Yeah, on my son, you know, because kids know how to do stuff better, pulled it up, he said, "Here's where your phone's at, Dad." And we would tell the police, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't care." It's frustrating.
At some point, did you get your property back?
Yeah, a couple hours later that night, they finally let me go to my room, went to my room. A couple hours later, a police officer showed up and took me with him to where they were, and I got my wallet.
Did you ever get your phone back?
No.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
What we're going to show the jury in Exhibit 5. Is this what was recovered from the individuals?
Yes,
And so is this your credit card or your wallet with 3 credit cards?
yes,
You said you never got your phone back?
no, I did not.
At some point, did they ask you to try and identify the individuals?
Yeah, with the photograph lineup,
Do you recall if you were able to identify anyone?
no, it was pretty worthless. I felt bad
Why do you think you weren't able to identify anyone?
because I never was focusing in on everybody because I never saw them as a threat. Yeah, I never saw them as a threat. I just thought there were other people out hanging out and mistake.
I'm sorry.
Can I say more?
You just have to answer the question that's asked of
Okay.
you. And that's what, so The state will ask questions, then you answer those, and then the defense may have some questions for you, and you just answer those questions.
I was going to elaborate a little bit more, but there was a space. of
Judge,
time,
I'm
so-
gonna object to sidebar.
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm a
Yes.
psychologist. I'm
So,
sorry.
no,
Yeah,
just make sure that you just answer the questions that are asked of you, okay?
Okay.
All
So
right.
Dr. Benavides, you said that you didn't get a good look at them because I guess you weren't focused on them. Is that right?
Correct.
And you said you never saw them as a threat.
Correct.
Can you tell the jury again about how long did the assault take place?
Got a minute. I don't really know. Time's all weird. So I don't really know.
Were you looking at them while they were assaulting you?
God, no.
And then just to be clear, when you got your credit card and your wallet back, did you go out to the scene of where the individuals were detained?
Correct. Yes.
Did those, I guess, could you tell the jury whether or not those appear to be the same people, or could you tell?
Yeah. Even though I didn't look at anybody's faces, there were a couple of people, it's like, instant, I was like, those are the guys, the red and blue shirt I was talking about. It was like, there's a guys and there's a white shirt, so I didn't ever see their faces, but whenever I saw them there, I was like, it just clicked. But then when you did the lineup, all you saw was a face. So it was like, you couldn't really differentiate between anybody. So it made it look really bad.
And I guess lastly, can you tell the jury how long? So I asked you about specifically the assault, but from first seeing them approaching, I guess, in your direction to them taking off, running away with your property, about how long would that hold?
Maybe 3 minutes. Because they came walking up, maybe a 30-second walk up, because I'd looked up at them a couple of times. And then they beat me and then they ran away.
Your Honor, we'll pass a witness.
All right. Defense?
Thank you, Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. Benavides. So what time of evening was this when the group walked up to you?
9:30-ish.
9:30-ish? Okay, and according to you, there was 10 individuals.
That's what I thought at first, but there weren't 10 individuals.
Okay, and that raises a point here. You mentioned a minute ago that after watching videos, so before your testimony today, did you get an opportunity to speak to the district attorney's office?
Yes, when we listened to the tapes.
Okay, so listen to the tapes, you watched videos, and you went over questions. Is that right?
I don't think we went over questions. He asked me questions, but we didn't go over questions the way
Okay.
you make it sound.
So it wasn't until you saw the videos that you realized there weren't 10 people?
No, whenever they came out with a list of the number of people that came out, I was getting a better idea that, and 10 was the upside. I had originally said more than 6, at max 10.
Okay.
So,
And so what we're getting at is like the state was pointing out, everything happened extremely fast.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, you were sitting down when you were smoking your cigarette?
correct,
Okay, and you said the group walked up to you,
correct,
and you said the tallest individual was there, right?
correct.
And you're clear, very clear that it was the tallest individual in that group of 6 that hit you,
First,
okay? But it's the tallest guy.
correct.
Okay, out of the
Correct.
6 individuals, it was the tallest guy that hit you.
The tallest guy with the white t-shirt.
Okay, so there was a taller guy?
I don't know. He seemed to be the tallest.
Okay, so you can't really tell how many guys there were or how tall most of them were.
I could tell that there was a number of people, and that one guy in front appeared to be taller than everyone else.
Okay,
And that's the person that hit me.
okay, so you were sitting down, and so did they walk up? They walked up on your right side.
It came up from this direction, yes.
That would be your right side.
Correct.
And they circled around you?
No, they were walking out. Like I said, I flicked my cigarette. I'm leaning forward. They're there. And then the first guy hit me.
Okay, so all of them are on your right side.
Correct.
Okay, so the first hit came from your right
Well,
side.
hang on. Let me back up. I'm being forward. I got hit. By that time, white shirt was here. So they're no longer all on my right side. At that point, they're in front of me. So that once he hit me and I went down, they were all right there.
Okay, so now is, to make sure I'm clear here. Just the white shirted guy now is on your left-hand side?
Right here. Boom.
Uh,
So I'm literally doing it, what they did. I'm leaning forward. And then I get hit right here.
Okay, so he hit you from, he's on your left-hand side,
Correct.
okay? And then the other group of individuals were on your right-hand side?
Well, they were in a row. So it was, he's here and probably red and blue would be here and we'd be the next guest because they were at the front of the group. So
So,
they're all right there. And so I'm falling forward and then they're all on me.
so they were surrounding you during
Yes,
this time?
yes.
Okay.
But once I went down, yeah. Because when I was on the bench, when I'm on the bench, I'm up, right? And so, like I said, I bend forward, they're still walking up, boom, 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 boom.
Okay. So maybe I'll just take it a little bit step by step. That would help you. Okay. When you were hit first,
Mhm.
I just need to understand the placing. Okay. You said the individuals, whether it be 6 or 10, you don't know, they all walked up from your right side.
Correct.
Dropped your cigarette, and then there was some exchange of words, and then you were struck.
Exchange of words for before I dropped the cigarette.
So then you were struck by the tallest guy,
Correct. In a white shirt.
and he was on your left side.
Correct.
Okay. And you said then there's some other guys that were right in front of you. Correct?
Correct.
And then other guys still on your right side of you.
Correct.
So after that first strike, you don't know who struck or how that was struck, right?
Correct. It was just multiple people from that point forward.
You also don't know who took your wallet.
Correct.
You don't know who was saying what.
Correct.
Now, having said that, you said what you did recognize is some clothing, right?
Yeah, but
Recognize clothing, like
correct.
white shorts
White shirt.
and white shirt, a red shirt. Okay. But you also mentioned that, and I'm a little confused here, that it happened very, very fast, but it didn't happen so fast that you could tell that the tallest guy was older than the rest of them.
Correct.
So you did get a good look at the tallest guy.
He stood out.
The question was, you got a good look at the tallest guy. If you could tell the age of somebody, you're getting a good look at him.
No, I would disagree.
Okay, so just a quick glance and
It was,
He's
it was,
older?
it was enough to look over and he, somebody that's older has a distinct look about them. And when you're younger, you look younger. I mean, yeah, I didn't get enough to where I would be able to recognize him later, but I could tell he was older than the others.
okay, well, older than the others.
Correct.
By how many years?
At the time I had said, it looked like it was late teens up into mid 20s. And then, so that was what I was thinking.
Okay, so the person, the tall guy in white that struck you was late teens, early 20s,
Mid to late 20s. Yeah.
mid to late
Yeah.
20s.
He was like a next generation above those guys, but
Okay, and so the other guys were 18, 19, 20-ish.
yeah. And some of them looked like they were even younger than that.
Okay, teenagers?
Yeah. Cause some of them look like kids. Yeah. That's why the center guy stood out so much. Cause it looked like a bunch of kids and a guy that was like their dad or something. I know 10 years isn't enough to be a dad. Isn't going to do it, but he looked distinctively different than everybody else. That's why I honed in on him so much.
But in his 20s.
From the quick glance I got, yes.
And then later on,
Like this guy, he looks like he's in his 20s
to you?
with the mask on and everything. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got to look a picture of that guy just a couple of days ago. I mean, a couple of days after the event happened.
I got a look at a bunch of different guys. Is that what you're talking about? Whenever they showed?
Correct? Did the
Yeah,
detective show
yeah.
you pictures?
I saw a bunch of pictures of a bunch of people.
And one of the pictures was this guy.
Okay, could be.
You didn't recognize him. You said no.
Did not. I've been very clear about that.
Yeah, you told the cops, no, it's not that guy.
Oh, no, I did not say he's not that guy. I said I can't tell for sure who anyone was. I never did say anybody was not guilty.
Okay. Well, I didn't say about guilty. I said you couldn't recognize anybody.
Well, if I recognize them as the people that beat me up, I think by definition that would make them guilty, wouldn't it?
The question was.
I'm
you didn't
just
recognize
saying, replying to what you said.
All right, so everyone, we promised that we will make Brenna's job easy today, and how we do
sorry.
that is one person talk at one time. So when a question is asked, wait for the question to be asked and then you answer it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. My question is simply this. When you were shown a picture of Mr. Curry, you did not pick him out as one of the individuals that
Yes.
was there.
That is correct.
Which videos did you watch in preparation for this testimony today?
We watched the body cam of the police officer when he came. I saw a video of them being beat up with the assault. And I think that's all the video we saw. We listened to audio of the 911 call.
Okay.
That's it.
Now, you, as the state had asked you that evening, the police made or detained, I should say, some individuals, right? And they drove you in a police car to where these individuals were being detained. Is that right?
That was the same night.
Correct. That in the evening.
Correct.
And you were in the back of a police car.
Correct.
And the purpose of that was for you to look at them and to make an identification, right?
I'm not really sure. It was a mystery to me why I was taken, because I was never taken over there to identify anybody. They came up and I was like, those are the guys. And so I told them right off the bat. And so I never understood why I just didn't get my wallet or why I wasn't formally asked, can you
Okay.
Or if they did, I don't remember it that way.
There was only 4 guys.
That was on the side of the building that night.
Correct.
There was a lot of people that were over there. So I don't know.
Well,
I saw
police
some on the
officers.
ground. And I remember saying there was a woman there and I was like, there was not a woman whenever I got in trouble or whenever I got beat up. And so that woman wasn't part of what happened.
Okay, so you would agree with me then, the group that assaulted you had changed from the group that you saw up against the wall.
There was one, what I know, there was one additional person there that wasn't there before.
Okay, so according to you, then there were 7 people there?
No, according to me, I said that there was between more than 6 and 10 in my original.
What I'm asking you is, and that was a bad question on my part, and I apologize. When you were taken to where they were being detained, okay, you were in the back of the police car.
Right.
That group of individuals, according to you, was not the exact same group of individuals that had approached you at the Emily Hotel.
Correct.
Were you, when you were on the ground getting punched and kicked, do you know if the individual, well, I guess I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. You don't know of which individual of that group took your wallet?
For the second time, no, I do not. You'd asked that question earlier.
So my question to follow up then is this: do you know what side of you was the individual who took your wallet from?
No, because I can't say for sure, because I started like laying like this in 4s and getting kicked and moved around. I don't really know.
About your phone really quick, you said you were tracking your phone. Was that on a phone tracking device?
On my son's phone.
Okay, so your family plan, I guess, something like
Right.
that. Okay, and your phone was never recovered?
No, it wasn't.
Did they ever, that evening when you were tracking it, did it just stop tracking or?
No, it tracked for a while, and then I think it quit moving. And we even, I think we went to a park, me and my son, trying to see if we could ever find it. We never did.
So you weren't with the police at that time?
This was like the next day,
Oh, was the date next day?
I believe so.
So it wasn't with any of the it wasn't with any of the individuals that were arrested that night?
Apparently not, or they would have been retrieved, I would guess, right?
Pass the witness, Judge.
Just one question for clarification. Dr. Benavides, you said that it wasn't the same group when Mr. Porter asked you. I guess, are you saying that? I guess, are you answering that it wasn't like was it a completely different set of people?
No, and I wouldn't be able to answer that. All I knew was that the female wasn't part of the original group. So it could have been the exact same group or not the same group. I wasn't really cluing in on that.
Okay.
Nor was that what I was implying when I told him. All I knew was that there wasn't a girl there in the original group. And so I didn't want her getting lumped in with them at the scene because I knew for sure she wasn't there.
Okay, but did you say that you recognized some of the individuals, or
Right.
at least their
The
clothing?
three shirts, I keep mentioning the white, red, and blue.
Your Honor, pass the witness.
Defense.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excuse, Judge.
Subject to recall, Judge.
All right. Is anyone invoking the rule? Or no?
Yes, Judge, we are.
All right, so the rule has been invoked. What that means is you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you can speak to are attorneys for the state or the defense. You understand?
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor.
All right, just make sure that you're available if anyone wants to recall you for testimony, okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
State, call your next witness.
The state calls Chanel Anderson.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
All right, just have a seat. Make sure you speak up and state your name for the record, please.
Chanel Anderson
All right, state.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Anderson, how are you currently employed?
with Circle K,
What do you do for Circle K?
store manager,
Do y'all have, I guess, what location are you employed at?
1203 Austin Highway.
Do y'all have a camera recording system at that location?
Yes,
At times, do SAPD or other law enforcement agencies reach out to y'all for video for that location?
yes,
Do you recall around March 26, 27, Detective Flores getting video for you from that location?
yes,
Would you have been the one to make a copy of the video for him?
yes,
Are the cameras there capable of making an accurate recording of the events as they occur?
excuse me,
Are they able to accurately record the events that happen in the store?
yes,
And Your Honor, I apologize. Can we approach?
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a brief recess. We're going to come back at 4:20. You've heard some evidence in this case. You're not allowed to discuss it amongst yourself at all. I will let you know when it's time for you to deliberate. So you're not allowed to speak to each other. You're not to start deliberating in your head. The other thing is Deputy Laura, she's going to take you to the jury room right now, just so you know where it is. And she's going to give you some badges that signify that you are on a jury. I don't expect this case to be a media case or for it to be shown anywhere, but if you see anyone discussing this or sound like they're discussing it, walk away, don't listen to it. If you see anything written anywhere or maybe on the news, don't listen to it. The other thing, don't do any research or try to figure out who the parties are, because everything that you need in order to make a decision on this case will come from inside this courtroom. Does everyone understand? All right, thank you. So everyone, please rise for the jury. I heard that. I know the chairs are very hard.
Location.
Yes. All right, everyone, please be seated. And I see that everyone is switching around on me, which is good because then I get to know you better. And there are pillows in the back. So you're more than welcome to grab those. All right, we are back with state.
Yes, Judge, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Anderson, I'm showing you what's marked as Exhibit 7, which is what we just watched. Was that a copy of the video that you provided to Detective Flores
Yes,
from March 26th of 2020?
yes. I guess the date. I don't remember the date.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm going to need you to speak
I
up.
don't remember the date, but yeah, I gave the disc to them.
Is it a true and accurate copy?
Yes.
All right, we'll offer 6 Exhibit 7.
One quick question, Judge,
Yes.
and maybe I just didn't hear the question right. You watched this video, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and you gave it to Detective Flores?
yes.
Okay, so was the question, when did you give it to him or what date this was made?
I'm sorry.
What date is this video from? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't remember the date. It was 2 years ago
Okay, when did you make the video?
when they came to pick it up.
And when was that?
I don't remember.
Judge, we're gonna object to 7, improper foundation.
All right, that will be overruled. State's exhibit number 7 is admitted.
Your Honor, we'll pass the witness.
No questions, Judge.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excuse.
Excuse, Judge.
All right, the rule has been invoked. What that means is you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to about your testimony are attorneys for the state and the defense. Do you understand? All right, your excuse. State, call your next witness.
The state calls Debbie Stangoni.
All right, if you'll take a seat here, please. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. All right, if you'll have a seat, make sure you speak up so that the jurors can hear you and that attorneys can hear you. State your name for the record, please.
Deborah Stangoni.
State.
Thank you, Judge. Deborah, how are you currently employed?
I work for a real estate firm,
Okay, what's the name of it?
Zurich International Properties,
Where is it located?
118 Broadway.
Do y'all have cameras around downtown?
We do
Where are they located at?
at 118 Broadway and 110 Broadway, and also in a few of the surrounding parking lots surrounding our buildings.
And are they there to capture your property?
Yes,
At some point, did Detective Flores reach out to you for video about a case?
yes,
And did you review video for a case that Detective Flores got video
yes,
for?
I did.
Would it have been around March 27th of 2020?
I know it's been some time. I did not go back and review the date, so I don't recall exactly.
Showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 8, do you recognize your signature on that?
I do.
Is this a copy of the video that you provided to Detective Flores in regards to a case that he had?
It is.
Your Honor, at this time, is it a true and accurate copy of the videos?
It is.
Your Honor, at this time, we'll offer State's Exhibit 8.
No objection.
All right, state's exhibit number 8 is admitted.
Your Honor, we'll pass the witness.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excuse.
All right, the rule has been invoked. What that means is you're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for the state or the defense. You understand?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. You're
Thank you.
excused. State, call your next witness.
The state calls Officer Clint Withers.
All right, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, if you have a seat, please. And if you could make sure you keep your voice up so that the jurors and attorneys and the court reporter can hear you. State your name for the record.
Clint Withers,
All right, state.
Clint, how are you currently employed?
with the Alamo Trust, that does the management for the Alamo for the Texas General Land Office.
Are you a peace officer?
A former police officer, now I'm level 3 security for the Alamo.
Okay. And so what are your duties as level 3 security for the Alamo?
Currently, I am the chief of security at the Alamo.
Do y'all have cameras around the Alamo?
Yes, we do.
Are those cameras capable of recording events as they occur?
Yes,
Are you aware of an event that took place on March 27th of 2020 in front of the Emily Morgan?
yes.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Going to show you what's State's Exhibit 9. Have you had a chance to view this? Have you had a chance to view that?
Yes, I have.
Is that your signature on it?
Yes, it is.
Um, Can you tell the jury what is State's Exhibit 9? What is it a video of?
It's a video of a disturbance that we had on that date of some gentlemen attacking another one in front of the Emily Morgan Hotel.
And are you, I guess, how familiar are you with the cameras in front of the Emily Morgan, or that look at the Emily Morgan?
I'm familiar with them.
I guess, have you ever had any issues with the cameras there?
The cameras is, it's electronics for some time to time. Every once in a while, our servers will update, so will the software. And sometimes they can either be turned off very temporarily and back on.
When you viewed State's Exhibits 9, did you notice any issues with the video?
No,
Did it play smoothly?
I'm sorry.
Did it play smoothly through?
Yes, it did.
Your Honor, I guess, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
And Judge, if I could have a few minutes to show him something on the video. Jury doesn't need to leave it. I can just do it in front of him with defense counsel.
All right. Just one moment. Can I have parties approach?
Mr. Withers, are you aware of the cameras in front of the Emily Morgan? I guess when they're recording to ever glitch forward?
They have glitched in the past. That's correct. Sometimes we In this case, when we pulled up the history on the cameras to look at the prior video, they've been known to glitch. It's common.
When you watched this recording, did you notice any glitches?
Judge, that's been asked and answered. Objection.
All right, that'll be overruled.
Did you notice any glitches when you watched this video?
I observed two views. I would have to look at maybe the video one more time. I didn't observe really a major glitch in it, no.
Okay. Your Honor, may we have a moment for the witness to view the video so that he could answer the question?
Oh, no, he's answered the question.
I'm sorry, then can you repeat your answer, Mr. Withers?
It was, if it glitched, it was brief. Maybe I didn't pick up on it when I viewed the video, but it's not uncommon for it to glitch.
Okay. But from, I guess, your viewing of the video, it is a fair and accurate copy of the video from March 27th.
It is.
Your Honor, at this time, we will offer State's Exhibit 9.
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibit number 9 is admitted.
Your Honor, we'll pass the witness.
All right, defense.
Were you working that night?
Yes, sir.
Did you personally view any of the disturbance?
I was located from that position in front of the Emily Morgan. We have a location where we sit, which is about a half a block east of where that occurred. And it's what we refer to as a perch. It's a stand behind the limestone wall of the Alamo. And it was very quiet that night. Downtown was during the COVID period, so you could really.
Let me
hear-
just stop you
Sure,
real briefly.
Sure.
Did you observe any of?
No,
So
I saw a disturbance, but I could not. I saw people, but I could not identify exactly what was going on.
Okay. Or you couldn't even see exactly what was going on, other than in your mind, it was a disturbance.
Correct.
I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right, State.
No further questions, Judge.
All right, is this witness excused or subject to recall?
Subject to recall, Judge.
Excused.
All right, the rule has been invoked. What that means is you can't discuss your testimony with anyone except for attorneys for the state and attorneys for the defense. Please make sure that you're available in case either side needs to call you back for further testimony.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right. So,
May we approach, Judge?
yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I was informed that one of you needs to be out of here by 5. So I'm going to allow it to happen. What I can tell you is usually I try to break by 4:30 each day so that everybody can avoid rush hour traffic. Some days that may not be possible if we're in the middle of a witness. I want that witness to be able to finish their testimony. Again, you're not allowed to discuss your testimony. I mean, you're not allowed to discuss any of the evidence that you've heard. I will let you know when it's time for you to deliberate. Do not read anything. Do not try to do your own research. Make sure that when you're in the courthouse, you wear those badges at all times, because there are a lot of attorneys who walk around and other people who walk around who may be discussing things about a case, and you never know if it may be this one. Does everyone understand? All right, we're going to start tomorrow at 1:30. We're starting tomorrow at 1:30 because even though we're in jury trial, I still have a full docket every single day. So I have docket in the morning and I want to keep you waiting. What I can tell you is the parking garage fills up pretty quickly. But since I'm asking you to come in at 1:30, usually it clears out a little bit because people go on their lunch break and some people go on what I call off-campus runs. So I know it may be early for a 1:30 start, but if you probably come by about 1:15, 1:20, there'll be less people in the parking garage and you'll have space there. When you come to court, you won't report to the courtroom. Deputy Laura will show you where you need to report. The other thing is, if you want to bring drinks, you're more than welcome to bring drinks. Just make sure that there's a cap on the lid so we don't get any spillage. It's usually hot in this courtroom. I keep praying one day, maybe it'll be super cold, but I always tell people to be prepared for that eventuality. So you're more than welcome to bring jackets. It's always better to have something and not need it than to need it and not have it. You're more than welcome to bring pillows. I know those chairs are very uncomfortable. I've been slowly buying pillows for the chairs, and as you can tell, pillows are very expensive. I know people who have bought pillows now. So I'm slowly trying to get pillows for each of the chairs, but the pillows that are back there, you're more than welcome to grab them and bring them out here. That's what they're for. All right, any questions before I release you? All right, and at any time, if you can't hear what people are saying, let us know, so we'll have people speak up and try to turn the microphones up, all right? All right, everyone, please rise for the jurors. I thought there was a question. Yes. Oh, okay, I appreciate that. And let me just tell you, because the 187th, we're always in trial and we use all of the equipment. The equipment is starting to break down a little bit, and I've been sending letters and emails to try to get all of that fixed. But thank you so much for letting us know. All right. Everyone, please rise for the jurors.